Jayant, can you hear me? I don't know, there's something here, yeah? Good. So it's very difficult to keep you awake because lunch is about to happen. But definitely it's a very interesting topic. Because हम सब एक बॉडी है और बॉडी के अंदर एक दिल होता है और दिल से अगर आप काम करते हैं तभी काम होता है, ऊपर से कुछ नहीं होता. तो ये सब्जेक्ट बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग है, वेरी क्लोज टू माई हार्ट. इनोवेशन एट द हार्ट ऑफ द डिफेंस एंड नेशनल सिक्योरिटी. Disruptive technologies transforming the defense industry, and we have got wonderful panelists with me. I will be asking and grilling them some questions. Whether they like it or they don't like it, they have to answer those, right? So this audience has to judge whether you are giving a right reply, dil se ya dil se nahi. So we were hearing something about Op Sindoor, and people were talking about the technology, how technology was being used everywhere in the world today. And we saw that beautiful slide which previous speaker displayed, how the world is in a Beni situation, because generally we understand VUCA. VUCA is an old management concept because the managers today, they create these kind of acronyms which you don't understand so easily. So VUCA is vulnerable, uncertain and complex and ambiguous, and today they say it is Beni. What is Beni? Brittle, anxious, non-linear, right? And last is indecisiveness. And look at what is happening in America. The president is doing a flip-flop every day. And this is called indecisiveness with the leadership as well. The world is brittle because today we are seeing आज इनसे दोस्ती है, कल उनसे दोस्ती है. Alignment, misalignment. Today you talk about aligning with USA, then when USA misbehaves, you start talking to China, you talk about making BRICS coming into play. So ladies and gentlemen, we must understand that you are living in a world which generally people say that we are on a flux. Actually, you are always on a flux. You will all agree with this. I have a wonderful speaker with me, Director General CAPS. And sir, with your kind of experience, you have been in the Air Force for such a long time, and I read that beautiful document came out on Op Sindoor. And I would like to know, with this kind of a topic in front of you, when we talk about innovation, indigenization, and how you use these technologies in the defense aspect. In Op Sindoor, I believe everybody has read about ISCCS getting integrated with Akash Tir, right? And we talk about the integrated air defense systems. So I want to know from you, sir, with your experience, how from the previous ops which you have seen, read, and what you saw in the Op Sindoor, how Indian Air Force was an edge when they talk about the integration of this Akash Tir, ISCCS, and the weapon system, and create a picture called intelligent, integrated, interoperable, wherein the technology is playing its role, and where the indigenization is playing its role, and the strategic concept the decision maker is taking. I think combination of this was seen in the success of Sindoor. So I would like to know from you how you define that aspect, sir. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for the question, and I must thank the organizers for calling us to this seminar. Now, I think you heard a lot about this integrated air command and control system. This as a concept, I think it was moved about more than 20 years ago. It was not easy. I think the idea was brilliant, and it was homegrown and indigenous from the Air Force. And if you get to see the responsibility that the Air Force has to protect the skies, the air defense of this country, I think every minute there are about more than 100 aircraft which are taking off or landing. If you look at the Indian airspace, so the numbers are humongous. To monitor this entire airspace of the country is a very difficult task. Now, the radars that we have, the systems that we have are varied. They have been sourced from multiple countries and partners. So gradually we've grown to, integrate all the existing radars of the Indian Air Force, all the civil aviation radars, and also the sensors of the Army and Navy. Now, when we integrate all these and you have a common situation, air situation picture, which gives you the, every aircraft or every object that is flying in the air has to be identified, whether it's friendly or hostile. And if it is not hostile, then you have to take, actions, whether it's scrambling your fighter aircraft to shoot down that object, or your missiles, or your guns. What happened in this particular conflict in Operation Sindoor was that, as you all are aware, after the first day, our foes across the border, they launched, I think, more than 600 drones, and loiter munitions and all were launched. And our air defense, this integrated air defense system was able to function seamlessly, integrating old technologies like even the L-70 guns with the modern radars like the S-400 which we acquired from Russia, and we were able to effectively destroy these targets before they could actually come and do damage inside, onto our targets. So this is the IACC system which is actually innovated, homegrown and indigenous solution which was able to protect our vital assets, areas and everything, and there was no damage to any base except for one minor damage at Udhampur to a Medicare center where we lost one sergeant, but there was no other damage at all.
Thank you so very much, sir. Fantastic. And I think, as he has explained, see, gentlemen, we must understand that whatever has happened in Op Sindoor and what he talked about the ISCCS, it's not so easy to create these kind of networks and this kind of integration. It was a work in progress, still the work in progress is there. And now this Akash Tir has been integrated, which he has explained. And in future, we will be able to integrate the Trigun, sir, if I'm not wrong, about the Navy. So we will have a air situation picture wherein you have the land, sea, as well as the air picture around you, and you can take a quick decision. And the very interesting thing he mentioned about 600 drones or whatever you call it coming to you, and here you protect the system. I put it this way, the air denial was there, sir. And I think air denial converts into air superiority. So, sir, thank you so very much. I'll come back to you later on. First, I go to Rajendra Mohanji. So, Rajendra Mohanji, I would like to ask you, because you are a country sales manager at nVent India, and how crucial, if I ask you, are advanced electrical, thermal, and enclosure protection systems for next generation defense platforms?
Okay, so first of all, thanks to Tricon for arranging a wonderful platform where we can, present our view about what we are offering in the market and how it is distinguishing. And coming to your question, sir, how crucial it is. So talking about the enclosure is that think about the electronics in the warfare system. So earlier it used to be a payload, but now any electronics in any of the system is the main backbone of the system. So without the electronics, you cannot think of the AI or you cannot think about the digital warfare. So this is the basic necessity. And to harden it, to keep it live, you need a reliable product, So that is exactly the area where we come. So nVent SUROJEET, we are nVent SUROJEET, and it's a group of brands. We have SUROJEET, Hoffman, Erico, and many others. So here we will discuss about the enclosure system. So we are coming with the 60 years or more than 60 years of experience, and our products and solutions have been used by US DOD and even for the NATO systems also. And what you can expect from this one is that just think about the situation where the warfare or the battleship situation is there and the PCB got cracked. So you lost the signal, you lost the detection, you lost the position and you lost the battle. So that is the importance of having a rugged system in place. I mean, what we can see is that when these specifications are being made, we don't think it from that we are already in the war. But when these systems are deployed and when the system's failure is about to happen, then you can think of that whatever small things which we could have saved, by compromising in the specification or the workmanship, that is resulting into a loss of the whole battle or maybe the whole nation. So that is how much it is crucial. So that is exactly where we come. We offer the world-class products in India, the reliable and time-tested products, which comes with a lot of certification.
Thank you so very much. Dhruv, coming to you, you are a founder and CEO of Simpliforge 3D Creation Private Limited. So generally we talk about 3D printing, and when we are talking about 3D manufacturing, I personally believe that in a supply chain kind of a scenario, or when you are trying to, in a logistics kind of scenario, if something goes down and I have to, get the part from somewhere else, if I can produce it on the site, it will be something which is actually needed. But I want to ask you a question. How do you see 3D printing contributing to faster development cycles and cost-effective innovation for defense systems?
Thank you so much for this platform. Very, very good question, sir. So we, as Simpliforge, we understood this is the major, or I would say the crux of the problem. And logistics, yes. So that's why, from my perspective, when I look at it, yes, the machines, the development of the machines, the development of the raw materials, or even that kind of ready mix for concrete, it has to be indigenous. And that's where we are moving ahead. We understood that, okay, 3D printing can be a very good thing in the plain areas, but the actual usage or actual application is in the forward areas, where you need to make makeshift kind of settlements and those kind of containers. So, and those kind of protective structures. So that's why the whole funda, we are moving in that direction. Maybe 2 years before, we didn't have such kind of solution. But today, like very nicely put it, sir, we do develop the concrete using the local available sand or cement. We do develop the, I would say the integrated parts of the machine in India itself. Other than the robotic arm, definitely, yes, we still don't have any manufacturer in India. But other than that, everything is indigenous. That does bring down the cost, that does bring down the time. And again, it's, I would say sky is the limit when we can take the machines in that area.
So if I may ask you an add-on question on this aspect, like how might 3D printing converge with the AI and robotics or
Yes.
digital twins to create the next wave of transformative defense capabilities?
Absolutely. AI is the need of the hour, I would say. It's not just that, okay, it is replacing any kind of technology. So I would put it in 3 verticals. One, AI, using the AI for process, wherein you have these AI-driven machines who can print or construct or develop any kind of prototype or let's say a product, wherein the man force can't reach. So that is there. And yes, and the second aspect of it is inspection and planning. So let's say, for example, if there is some terrain which you can't, you can't take the machine there, but you can actually have those kind of, let's eliminate the robotic arm out of it. So if we have drones which can go there and do the shotcreting or do some kind of construction or patchwork, in case, even in the similar case goes with the metal 3D printing and even in the polymers. So this is somewhere where AI will be a mandate thing, because it gives us accurate answers, it gives us better planning, and it also increases the efficiency, brings down the time drastically. And see, the overall, when you look at a project, the main time goes in the planning of it rather than the execution. So that's where the AI comes in the picture, and it will help us a lot, sir.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you, sir.
Satya, you gave a fantastic presentation and you were talking about the decoy creating, the enemy radar systems and how you protect and how you identify. So that presentation was really good and very interesting. So where do you see the biggest innovation gaps today in electronic warfare, surveillance and autonomous systems?
Thank you, sir. You see, these are some of the basics I see as, in fact, the innovation gaps. I had an opportunity to visit few companies abroad in US a couple of months back and had an interaction with few CEOs over there, which are in the electronic warfare space, to understand what's happening in that part of the world. You see, one of the very big challenges or gaps, I would say, I see is the importance which is given in India to the software aspects in the electronic warfare space. So most good amount of importance is given to the hardware part of it, and most of the focus is on the hardware, but software aspects are not given that much of importance from the starting of the design cycle. In fact, software is the key intelligence which is going to work in the field and differentiate. That is one. And now when we speak about software in nowadays, we cannot miss the AI part of it. You see, what is happening with AI? Everyone is talking about AI, but what is it we are doing at a ground level with AI becomes very important. How are we utilizing AI? It is not just ChatGPT getting or a model which we are getting and putting something and developing it and we work. So ChatGPTs and the other models are already giving 50-60% accuracy. That doesn't work in the field. Okay, getting these models or new models to work at around 90-95, that's the game changer. And to do that, you see, extremely core specialists of algorithms, okay, who are actual experts, need to work in this space. And I see few people like that in the defense ecosystem, which we need to bring in more. So it was very challenging for us to convince and get 2 PhDs, one from Stanford and one from, they are both IIT Kanpur, Indians. The interesting fact is India did fantastically in the software space everywhere. We have fantastic asset in Indian ecosystem, and a lot of AI talent out there globally is also from India. So this is one thing which I see is missing in the EW space. And one more point is, when we develop systems, again, whatever I'm talking is very basic, very, very simple. When we develop systems, nowadays, every system has swap constraints, size, weight, power, all these constraints, and going everywhere. And with these constraints, we cannot look at software separately and hardware separately. The architecture has to be looked, and design cycle has to be done in the right way. So when we say that, we have a requirement, it gets aggregated by someone into hardware and software, and someone else builds the hardware, someone builds the software. When we try to marry it, it becomes a jugaad towards the end. So now understand the functional objective, and then keep the final functional operational objective in mind, and have all the stakeholders to debate and get to that and go through the design cycle. And the tools what we use in the entire chain is also a huge gap I see. We feel we are experts, and we feel this tool, we have done it, for multiple years, we don't need, this will work. No, it is not like that. Like rightly you said, digital twin, right? Digital twin is a fantastic, powerful model. Are we using digital twin in the industry to validate our own designs before even go to fabrication? It reduces a huge life cycle cost. It reduces, and it meets your operational requirements when you put it on the board and simulate itself. So these are some of the challenges I see from the Indian ecosystems.
Thank you so very much. But the point which you mentioned about the developing the software and hardware together and not taking from others, also address very, very important aspect of today, which is supply chain vulnerability. Like how somebody asked why Apple phone is better than the Android phones. The question is asked by many people, and why they're charging you so high. Because the hardware, the software, the firmware, the application software, everything is their own. So there is nothing which is like in your Android phone, somebody is making an application, somebody is writing hardware. So I think that part also is very, very important. Apart from the interoperable issues which you have brought out, I think it makes sense to me. Surojit, I'll come to you because you are head of technology strategy, Nokia Mobile Networks in India, and this 5G and 6G is very close to my heart, I am being a communication engineer. So let me ask you a question. What role do you think 5G and 6G play in enabling real-time situational awareness? Sir spoke about battlefield situational awareness, right? And edge AI-driven defense operations. Because in battle space, the essence lies in reducing your OODA loop. The previous speaker spoke about it, and that is how it will come. If I get the information, actionable intelligence, I'll use it, not the information, actionable intelligence as a decision maker is available to me quickly. So I can, deploy my troops and my assets at the right place to neutralize the target. So keeping that in mind, please just try to explain how this 5G and 6G, nowadays we are talking 5G, but we'll migrate to 6G, in enabling real-time situational awareness and edge AI-driven defense operations.
Sure, sir. So first thing is, I think this situational awareness is very critical for taking the right decisions. I think if the central command can have a 360-degree view of like what's happening on the battleground, it is much easier for taking the right decision. You can have different, sensors out there. You can have 360-degree cameras. You can have wearables which can give the biometrics of the soldiers as well, right? But all this information is very data sensitive, data hungry, I would say, data intensive. So in that regards, you need, very high bandwidth pipes, which can translate this data real time to the central command. And that's where I guess this 4G, 5G, 6G technologies will help, because even with, lesser spectrum, with the high spectral efficiency, you can actually, transmit this high bandwidth applications efficiently in real time. to the central command. That will immensely help in taking the right decision. And then that's not only about the bandwidth, because 5G is a proven technology, you have standardized ecosystem. So what will happen is if you have 5G, 6G being used, you can also use the entire ecosystem of devices which are available. And you don't have to spend more time in integrating those devices, testing those devices again. So that saves time. And you will also have lots of applications which have been already tested. Traditionally, you know, the defense organizations have not been using the commercially available technologies, and they have been a bit slow to adopt, I would say. But I think the trend is changing. There are many countries which are now looking at how to utilize commercially available technologies, because those are more advanced, how to utilize that by doing some customizations. So I think that way 5G can be really helpful, and of course 6G will come up with even more use cases. I can give one more example. For example, with 5G, you can also have integration between terrestrial and non-terrestrial networks.
Yeah.
So with that, what will happen is you will have a network on the ground,
Ubiquitous
and
network.
you can also use a satellite as a repeater for 5G. So you have like coverage at every nooks and corner. So I think these are the various advantages.
But I think when you talk of 6G, you are talking of third dimension, 3D communication you speak about, because the latency
Yeah,
is
right.
very
Because
high.
you know 6G will have this sensing capabilities as
Yeah,
well. Instead of using sensors, you can use the radio itself as a sensor.
Yeah.
It can work as a radar, and it can actually tell you what's happening, you know, in your surroundings. 6G will enhance it even further.
So with this, I'll ask you another question. How will future network technology reshape, because somebody spoke about the autonomous systems, and how it will reshape autonomous systems, drones, and integrated battlefield command?
Sure. So, first of all, if you look at today, 5G technology, at least the air interface, etc., are pretty much, in blocks. These are defined blocks. And you can only put the AI or artificial intelligence on top of it.
Yeah.
But 5G by design would be AI native. It will have AI inbuilt.
Yeah.
Even the air interface will be intelligent. So depending upon the requirement, it will tune itself. If you need high bandwidth, it will give you high bandwidth. If you need better latency, and you are not maybe concerned about the bandwidth, it can adapt accordingly, right? And of course, this sensing which I mentioned, and then you can also have very high bandwidth supported in 6G. So the use of high bandwidth is like, if you have very high bandwidths, it's very difficult to jam those signals, because it's very difficult to make jammers which can work on very high frequencies. And of course, the use of artificial intelligence, you have unlimited options to make new use cases.
Thank you so very much. Coming back to the Air Marshal, sir, we see in the audience Army, Air Force, Naval officers are sitting, and we see the startups and established companies. They have put these stalls out there. So, in your opinion, how can defense institutions collaborate better with the startups and industry to shorten the innovation cycle?
I think, firstly, the government has taken a lot of measures to encourage startups, schemes like the IDEX, Aditi, and the government has recently announced 1,000 crore deep tech innovation fund also. And what has happened is the technology cycles have reduced significantly, as we are seeing in the present conflicts that are going on. So I think the startups can help in a big way by understanding the requirements of the services and interacting with them, and enable systems or technologies like AI, quantum, cyber resilience, and all, to ensure that the war networks they have inbuilt security like cyber resilience and all. And as far as data is concerned, optimal solutions and all. So there's a lot that the startups can actually do to help the services in fighting wars more effectively and much better in the future.
Thank you so very much, sir. राजेंद्र मोहन जी, आपसे एक सवाल मेरा है, अगर आप बता सके तो. So, in your opinion, what kind of innovations are emerging, because we was talking about the protection kind of a thing, in protection infrastructure that can improve mission readiness? Because he mentioned about how to protect the assets, right? The
Yes,
previous
that's
speaker.
true. So if you talk about the latest challenges, what we have in front of us, so we have to save electronics, that is the first thing.
Yeah.
And how to do it is the second thing. So instead of, protecting just a particular application, so providing the ecosystem of the protection. So right from the smallest part to the biggest one. So what I say is that when the cards are there, so protection at the card level, then providing it, safeguarding it with the EMI solution. So because what is happening is that one of the way of the cyber attack is electromagnetic attacks also. So if that happens, so within a flash, the card will be flashed, so the signal will be lost and the purpose will be defeated. So providing the EMI protection at the card level, then we have at the sub-rack level, what we call it sub-rack. So providing the protection at that level, and then at the cabinet level, the bigger level.
Great.
So if you're talking about the applications like radar, so RADCAP was one of the projects we did with Bharat Electronics.
Okay.
And a lot of things we do with HL also. So there we provided the gamut of the protection. And at every level, this was completely safeguarded, and there is zero complaint. So I don't know whether I should compare it or not, but if you compare it with the railways, you see a lot of failures. We keep on reading the newspapers. Why it is happening? Because the challenges are slightly similar in that manner. So this is being taken care at the defense level. Railway has to come up, so that's a separate matter. But the fact remains the same because the lives are involved everywhere. So we have to provide the protection in all the system, all the applications. So that is one of the, I would say, innovation which is happening. So providing a safe, guarded ecosystem. Then we have the, now we are in 2025, we are seeing GA. There is a lot of, so that is a kind of heat dissipation which is happening. So if we just go with the, the conventional method of cooling, that the system will be flashed like anything. So that's a failure. 40 to 60% of the failures are happening just because of this heating issues. So we'll have to shift from the air to the liquid. So we are already having those solutions which we have, the installed base is there in the US and Europe also, and the same is being now used in India also. So we have we are, you can say, Make in India partner. So we have 80,000 square feet manufacturing area in India, in Biddi near Bangalore. So we are a part of this Make in India, and where we are not only just bringing the product. The idea is to localize and make India enable with the global standard product. So that is the main thing which we are focusing on this one. So ecosystem is first thing, EMI, EMC protection is second thing. Third one is the latest liquidation cooling.
So basically, you are addressing the ESG aspects of
Exactly.
Thank you
So that is the area where we have to focus. We have the complete gamut of the products to offer. Another one, I would say, another innovation which is hot swappable power resources, like the intelligent PDUs. Now it is not just simple plug and socket kind of thing. Now the intelligent PDUs have come into the picture, which is providing the redundancy. So there is no gap in the resources.
Thank you, and thank you so very much. We have got 2 minutes, precisely 10 seconds, and I'll ask the audience, because I'm not sitting here to ask question on your behalf. Why don't you ask this eminent panelists who are sitting here any of the questions which is trickling your mind? Open to you guys. Any question? So no questions means you are waiting for the lunch, right? But lunch will not be served till the time 2 questions from the audience will come. This I have already. So at least you have to ask 2 questions. Here it goes. Yes, he's a test engineer, gentlemen. A very, very important aspect of engineering. These people look after, and they are the heroes behind the Oxendur. I can say that. Yeah, please.
Good afternoon. My question to especially, sorry.
Satya?
This is with respect to UAVs, actually. Yesterday, we were in the Dubai Air Show, actually. And we saw the UAVs of size of 2 inches by 2 inches. 1 inch by 1 inch. This was the size of the Chinese. It was flooded. To see those UAVs of that size, my concern is that if these UAVs, they are so small to detect even by the radars. Now, if the swarm of maybe around 50 to 60 UAVs, if they are in the flight path of an aircraft, it's so easy to get into the intake of the aircraft. You're not even fighting any war. Normal, basic peacetime operation it can be, and you can damage so heavily our aircraft. So anything of this nature, because most of the UAVs what you are developing is of quite a bigger size, right? Any system from the ground-based, can you throw some light on that?
But very high spectral vision electro-optic UIR systems is one thing which can be used to detect it. But one of the challenges with the vision system is if we are mounting them on the aircraft to detect it, okay, the speed at which they can detect and the area at which they can cover cannot solve that. So literally I don't have an answer for that if we are talking of 2 × 2 inch.
If something of, because there are certain, let's see, you might have heard about the spy UAVs or something, which are of mosquito level or whatever. Okay, I'm not getting into that one. But there might be certain controlling signals which are controlling those type of UAVs, right? So basically using those type of signals, is there any possibility of designing things?
Of course, you see, if these signals are getting transmitted, now what we have taken as a base option is most of the UAVs and drones which are now coming, none of them, I mean, most of them are silent these days, where radio proof they are having and they are not even transmitting signals, or they are transmitting signals in bursts at times. If they are transmitting signals, for sure 100% we can detect using passive detection. I mean, the passive detections, we need to have a very high sensitivity. And I'm not sure how they are able to put a communication system on the top of it also. In a 1 × 1 inch, I have seen, we are working on one system where I was amazed to see one product. It's a R&D product at MIT. It is less than, like, it fits into my finger, just the first part of it. And it's a communication system. The range is very short. The range is around 100 meters, 150 meters, but it fits into this, okay? Those are also very difficult to detect from a longer range. So if it is in a shorter range, but at the speed of an aircraft, if we are detecting in a shorter range, I mean, I am not genuinely sure if we can detect it. But from a detection point, yes, we can detect it, but from a shorter range. Passive detection is always available. We can detect it. If they are all transmitting together in different signals, we can try to identify it using AI. Maybe we need to understand a bit more about that, sir.
Very difficult question.
To be very frank with you, my problem statement is that it is the damage to the aircraft. It will damage the aircraft so easily that no one probably will even come to know why it has happened. That is the problem.
No, this is a right question you asked, because the second part of the topic is disruptive technology transforming the defense industry. And I am very happy that you are not my instructor, otherwise तो मैं पास ही नहीं होता एग्जाम में. तो difficult question पूछते हो यार इतना. But anyway, times is up, gentlemen. Second question आपके लिए छोड़ दिया है. आप बाद में पूछ लीजिए, because यहाँ लाल signal आ गया है. Times is up.
But
and she's giving dirty looks to all of us, right? So only thing left with me is join me in giving a big hand to these people. Thank you so very much.